To finish up these lectures, let's take a few minutes to talk about the accessory organs of digestion. And the main one of these is the liver, which is shown here in this diagram. And the liver is essentially divided along this ligament right here into a left lobe and a right lobe. And the right lobe is about 2/3 of the entire liver, and the left lobe is about 1/3. And you have, on both sides, you have a main artery, vein, and bile duct. So you have the right hepatic duct, the right hepatic artery, and the right hepatic vein, the left hepatic duct, the left hepatic vein, and the left hepatic artery. They all coalesce here in the middle to the common hepatic duct and artery and vein. The gallbladder comes in here. This is the cystic duct, and then after the cystic duct, it's called the common bile duct. Organization of the liver is shown here. The primary functional unit of the liver is called the liver lobule, and that's this structure right here. And if you look at this little piece of the pie here, this is a section of the lobule, which includes the hepatic vein here, the portal vein here, the hepatic artery, and the bile duct. And this group of three structures, this hepatic artery, hepatic portal vein, and bile duct, are called the portal triad. Blood flow is from the artery and vein into the hepatic vein here. So blood flows through this in this direction, and bile, when produced, is actually produced and flows in this direction. And then these cells in here are called hepatocytes, and they essentially do the work. And as the blood flows in this direction, nutrients are taken up by the liver cells, toxins are taken up by the liver cells. And I'll point out this Kupffer cell here because this is the inflammatory cell that does the work of the immune part in the liver. And these blood channels are called hepatic sinusoids, and they're larger and large enough for blood to slow down, so there's a considerable amount of time for things to be absorbed and taken in. Now, the liver does a huge amount of stuff. It converts nutrients from one type to another, so it takes up nutrients from the blood and converts them into various different molecules. It takes up glucose and converts that into a storage called glycogen. It takes up bilirubin and converts that. It detoxifies and takes up various other materials. It also synthesizes a huge amount of materials, including bile salts, which are used to digest fats and are secreted back into the intestine. And then, as I said, it's important in detoxifying or breaking down and destroying poisons. For example, when proteins are broken down to amino acids are broken apart, you're left with ammonia. And the liver is extremely important in the detoxification of ammonia. It also takes other toxins and drugs out of the blood and is important for that process as well. The last major function occurs in the sinusoid, and again I'll point out this Kupffer cell here because it's important in the immune function, and that's the last function of the liver. It phagocytizes materials that are foreign, and it also phagocytizes old red blood cells, and it's shown here, and it recirculates the bilirubin so that it can be used again, as well as the iron. So this is another important part of the liver function. The last of the accessory organs of digestion is the pancreas. The pancreas is divided into the head, the body, and the tail. And this shows the two different functions, the endocrine function, which we've talked about before, and the exocrine function, which is here. And the pancreas produces an enormous amount of pancreatic juice, 1 to 2 liters a day. And this pancreatic juice has two functions. First of all, it has a bicarbonate, and the bicarbonate acts to neutralize the acid that comes down from the stomach. And then it also has a lot of enzymes, lipases, which are important for the digestion of fat, and proteases, which are important for the digestion of protein. It produces carbohydrate digestive enzymes as well as DNA digestive enzymes. So the pancreas is critical for the digestion of a lot of the different substances in the food. This is the main pancreatic duct that dumps into the small intestine. And then there's an accessory duct over here that also can empty as well. And so with that, we're finished with our discussion of the GI system. I want to thank you for your attention.